Good evening, Partner Co. Welcome. Looks like everybody's coming into the call. If you can jump on the chat and just let me know where you're listening in from, dialing in from, interneting in from. I don't know what the right term is anymore. Calling in from. We got Lakeland, Florida. We got Canada. We got Ohio in the house. Oh, and then it starts going so fast I can't read nearly fast enough. Buddy, Tennessee. Funny Susan, thank you. I caught that one. Buddy, Tennessee. Y'all are so funny. I love it. All right, we got Louisiana. We've got more Tennessee, more Canada. We got them coming in from all over North America. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm telling you what. Uh, that's me on the slide. That's not what I wanted to announce real fast. Let's go to the next slide, Alondra. You know I hate looking at my picture on this on the Zoom call. All right, everybody, here's the deal. We have an amazing call tonight. We have Brett West on the call, who's I'm going to introduce in just a little bit. You're going to get a science explosion of information tonight on three of our products that I want you to reach out. If there's people that you know that have questions about products all the time, get them on the call tonight. Send a text out. Let's get everybody message that they have to be on tonight's call. They're going to miss out on so much information. And we have a flash sale that will start immediately following the call tonight. So if you're not on the call, you may miss out on some really cool, not only cool prizes, cool fun, but man, you're going to miss out on some of the most important information about our products. So I'm going to make a big plug right now. Start reaching out to everybody. Your entire team needs to be on right now to hear from Mr. Brett West and to be able to participate in our fun tonight. So I'm super excited about that. I've got Alondra behind the scenes running the slides tonight. Shout out Alondra. We got Kevin and Dina and Taylor working the chat. We have all of you beautiful, beautiful people ready to rock, ready to roll. And so let's go ahead and get started and let's have a lot of fun. First slide, just a quick update. We do have calls every Monday night this week, or Monday night this month, excuse me. There's no Monday holidays in the month of June, so we are going to be here every single Monday. We just finished up the final body balance challenge call. Put a 10 in the chat if you were on that call just a little bit ago, and we had a lot of fun. We gave away lots of stuff. All right, we had a lot of people that were a lot of you are double dipping tonight, so thank you for doing both and being part of that challenge. Super excited. Again, another successful body balance challenge. We're going to start pouring over all the results, and we're going to start pouring over all the results and looking at all the pictures that have been submitted, reading your stories. It was one of the best things that I got to experience just a couple months ago when we did our previous body balance challenge. So we're super excited about that. Lots of people, looks like you participated in both, so congratulations. There is a week out of this month where we will be having our global incentive trip, our Epic Escape in Bali. So shout out to everybody that's going on the Bali trip. Is there anybody on the call tonight that's going on the Bali trip? Put a one in the chat if you're going to Bali. Let's see who on the Michelle McKay's going to Bali. Sheila's going, Tammy's going. Okay. We have some amazing Haley Lee's going as well. Shout out to all of you who are going to Bali. Super excited for that. We will still do our Monday night call that week and then the Monday night call the following week. So that's not going to disrupt us here. Friday, the 27th, all you officers, we will be doing our officers club call at 10 a.m. and then our recognition call, which will be 2 months worth of recognition at the end of the month. All right, Alondra, next slide. All month long, we have these two fabulous products in our loyalty cart and in our shopping cart at a discount. I mean, I know a lot of you had so much fun with the Summer Black Friday promotion that we did a little bit over a week ago. We still have deals all month long on Omega Q and Rejuvenix. So take advantage of these promos. This will go from all the way through the 30th of June. Then we'll have a new one starting in July. So take advantage of our discounted products all month long. Next slide, Alondra. All right. Holy smokes, this event is starting to pick up some momentum. I think Dr. Crystal just let out some information for everybody on the previous call about some of the things that we're going to be doing at this Connect event in Ohio. These Connect events are so cool. They're so much fun. Not only here's the idea. We want to bring a regional event where you can come in, plug in for a full day worth of training, connecting with other leaders. We'll do recognition. We'll do training on products. You will have a chance to meet the executives of our company. John Wadsworth will be at this event. Dr. Plant, Mark Patterson, Katie Holt Larson, myself, the rest of our executive North America team will be there, as well as all of the top leadership in that area will be there to do trainings on how to be successful in the business. It's a beautiful blend of corporate training, field training, recognition, and we always finish these things off with a lot of fun. We have a party that night that's going to be amazing. Look forward to one of the next Monday night calls that we're going to do. We're going to have Tara Stewart and Crystal Vance on the call to talk about this event. If you live within driving distance of Ohio, we encourage you to make the effort to come be with us on July 26th. We're not necessarily asking you to go book flights. We will not turn you away if you do book a flight to come with us, but we aren't necessarily trying to incur extra expenses for your travel budget, because we do have the PXP just a couple weeks after this one. But if you're regional to that area, we picked this area because on our heat map, Ohio is hot. And so we have a lot of growth and excitement in the Ohio area. So everybody that's there building, growing, we invite you to be part of this event and to bring your guests, bring your friends and family to that. It's going to be an amazing time. Tickets are $25. You can still get tickets. We want to encourage that. Absolutely. So we also have a room block that goes through July 3rd. If you want to save some money, if you want to stay the night, or if you want to stay 2 nights like Friday and Saturday, if you want to stay multiple nights throughout the week, because there's going to be lots of events going on preceding our Connect event, use our corporate room block code. It'll save you money. I mean, $100 a night for a hotel, you can hardly do that anymore in these days. That's a really, really discounted rate at the hotel room. So take advantage of that. Please, please, please. Next slide, Alondra. And then, of course, we have Dallas, Texas PXP coming up. Tickets are still on sale up through August 1st. You get them for $169 currently. You still save 15% off the ticket price, so it's still a really good deal to get your tickets. The more people, let me just let you guys in on a little secret. The more people that buy tickets and come, the more cool things we can do at these events. I'm shooting still for 6,000 people to be at that event, because that's what our events and marketing team said that we can have in Dallas. So I'm gonna keep pushing that as my goal. Obviously, we're gonna have this is gonna be way bigger than Orlando was last year, and so we're super excited to have and to see these PXP events grow year after year on top of each other. Dallas is going to be amazing. We're going to be launching 2 products. We're going to have all the executives. We're going to have master classes. It will fill your brain, your soul, your heart with so much enthusiasm for the rest of the year. This is our culminating event that we do in North America, and we do 4 of these globally, but this will be our culminating event for the year in Dallas, Texas. So make sure you get there. All right, next slide. And you can use, I think we have a discount code for hotels at that event as well. So you're flying in, you're driving in, take advantage of our room block. Get your room booked at the Omni. It's right there attached to the convention center. You don't have to leave and drive and go somewhere else. It's just all there connected. That's the place you want to be at the event. Okay, next slide. All right, should we do a little bit of recognition? I love our power ranking. We're going to go through this fairly quickly so we can get to our special guest. Here's our update for week 22, our global power rankers that are from our market in North America. We have Tammy Maltby Melchizedek at 25, Michelle McKay at 24, Haley Lee at 19, Ashley and Reese Antley at 18, Bob and Lynn Budd at 17, Tricia Schultz at 15, Brent Palmer 11, Todd and Ashley Rowland 9, Cindy McKnight and Lindsay Yoakum 8, Leidy Leitner 7, Tim and Laura Sells 6, 4, Joni and Chris Budd, 3, James and Becky Zhang, 2, Susan Cameron, and number 1, Susan Frank, still perched atop of the global power ranking list. Congratulations. Shout out to all of you guys for working as hard as you are and representing North America on the global scale. So, I mean, that's more than half of the top 25 is coming from one market, which is so exciting. Love that. We are the number 1 growth market in all of PartnerCo. So momentum market, we are number 1 for sure. All right, next slide. Top 50. I don't have time to read everybody's names. That is lots of fun sometimes. But tonight we have so much information that I'm not going to go through and read everybody's name. However, every time I look at number 50 and like that back end of the list, there's new names on there. I'm seeing new names at the end of that list. So people are fighting their way into the top 50. Some people may have dropped back a little bit. It's super exciting to see who is new to the list and who is kind of flipped spots. Some of you keep very, very close track of this at home. But if you see a name, if you recognize a name, give them a shout out in the chat. Let's give these top producers in North America their shine. That is an exciting list. So congratulations to everybody who is top 50 power rankers in North America. That's US and Canada, by the way. So, wow, congratulations. Now, let's go to the next slide. Okay, I went through that very quickly because I want to allow this gentleman to have ample time to go through and talk about our products that we're going to feature as part of our Father's Day flash sale. Now, this individual I know is not only a father, but he is a grandfather. In fact, maybe some of those beautiful grandchildren might make an appearance and surprise us on the call tonight. Brett West is a family man for sure. Brett, let me be the first to wish you a happy Father's Day, even though it's like 7 days early. Brett is our senior director of R&D. He has been involved with PartnerCo for almost 30 years, coming up on 30 years, I believe. Nobody knows more about Noni and our products and the science that goes in behind our products than Brett West. Super knowledgeable. He's going to blow your mind with some information about these products tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to just see, Brett, are you there? Can you hear me?
I am here. Yes, I am.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Hey, well, thank you, Brett. Thanks for taking time away from your family to share about these products with our field tonight, but we're super excited to hear what you have to say about them.
No problem. Happy to be here. And I did lock the door to this room, so my grandkids come in. It'll be especially noisy if they manage to work through that door. So, but yeah, I'm happy to be here and talk about the products prior to Father's Day and what we're offering for dads and grandfathers and so forth. And happy Father's Day to you, Dan, as
Thank
well.
you. Thank
And
you.
anyone else on the call. I know there's a few of them. I recognize some of those names in that top 50. It's people I've known for a long time and some I've known for not as long a time, but quite a while. But congratulations and thank you for being involved. Some of those I recognize that they've been around as long or longer than I have, one or two of them. And so awesome. So tonight we're going to talk about some things that can benefit the health of you men or your men in your lives. And I think this is an important topic. Health is important. That's one thing that's good about PartnerCo. There's a lot of things we could do in our business to make money. But the old saying, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. That's kind of true. It's what does it matter if you aren't healthy? I mean, it's really important to take care of your health and to have good health. So let's jump in and see what we got first. So AdVantage is a new product, one of the newer ones that I'm going to talk about today, or the newest one that I'm going to be talking about today. And this is something we launched this year. Some of you got it towards the end of last year. Those of you who trialed it a little bit, but this is something that's new. And what I want to say about this weight management thing that I'm talking about. We have products, multiple products that can help with managing your weight. But I want you to think of this as this isn't a one shot deal. Okay. Now that was a reference to something that people are doing a lot, right? Nowadays, which if you need that, that's fine. Um, there are many things you need to do to attack managing your weight. And these products all help in a different way. It doesn't mean that you don't need other ones if you're using one of these. That's not what we're saying. These are all actually added in to work together. So I'm going to begin with AbVantage. Now, what it does, well, like you see here, it targets visceral fat, but how it does this, and I'll talk a little bit more about it, but it actually increases your resting metabolic expenditure or the calories you're burning while at rest. Now, you do know that if you're going to have a weight management program, you probably ought to get up and get moving around, help those muscles work those calories, burn those calories. There's advantages, not just for the weight part, but just moving around is good for your health. And but you have even if you're sitting there sleeping or just lying there, let's say you're lying or you're sitting in a chair and you're watching Days of Our Lives. Okay, maybe not all of you are going to watch Days of Our Lives. I don't, but I remember women in my family watching that when it was a thing. But your body's going to burn some calories. I saw somebody say Gunsmoke. That's good. But you're going to be burning some calories. Now, things like lifting weights and so forth, those build your muscles and they help burn calories too. But there are things you can do to help build your body's ability to burn calories while at rest. And that's what AbVantage is doing. And it helps target this visceral fat. That's why we call it AbVantage. And the clinical trials that were done with one of the main ingredients in AbVantage had showed how this reduced the visceral fat, the fat around the midsection of your body that involves your organs. Now, sometimes we look at it and we think, okay, there's a belly sticking out there and that's unsightly. But what you're not maybe always thinking about is all that fat that's cramping those organs in your midsection. And that puts a load on the body and it puts a load on the organs. And that's why sometimes the blood pressure goes up and other problems happen because of that extra fat load on the body. So that's what it does. It's targeting that. Let's go to the next slide. Now we have here this 10x on this product. That's based on clinical trial research done with this ingredients. And when we compare it to a placebo and we see how it increases this resting energy expenditure. And we see that you see a 10 times increase compared to the placebo group when you're taking this product. We've done this so we had the data that was available from the manufacturer, the people that did the research on this that helped develop this ingredient. It's called Grains of Paradise extract. I'll talk a little bit more about that. We've confirmed this in testing in our research and development department. And how we did that, we got the equipment that's needed. You hook it up to your mouth, you breathe into it, and the way it measures the carbon dioxide and the oxygen and so forth, back and forth. There's a lot of research that shows how you can tell the calories being burned by this respiratory gas exchange. Maybe that's a little too technical, but now you have a term you can say with somebody, if you want to feel pretty good, that, yeah, respiratory gas exchange measurement shows how this increases your calories burned. But we've seen this in our own R&D to confirm all this as well. In fact, I did this myself also. I was one of the, not only the principal investigator looking at it, but I also thought, I'm going to do this too, because it's kind of cool, at least from a nerdy standpoint, that I thought it was kind of cool to do this testing. So, I'd come in fasting in the morning, making sure I'm rested. Then I hooked everything up and relaxed and started recording, and then got my baseline measurement. And then I put in it, took a couple capsules of AbVantage and then measured it every half hour. What I saw was a 17% increase in my resting metabolic energy after a couple hours. I didn't have a placebo to compare to because, I didn't have it. It was just me, but I was seeing, okay, what does it do for Brett West? And what I saw was an increase. So I was about, had this written down, but I forgot to bring it here, but I was about 1745 kilocalories per day resting energy expenditure without this. And then I jumped up, it was I don't know, it was 2485, 2,485, something like that, calories burned. So imagine now if I did that was over a 2 hour period, and if this carried on throughout the day, you could be burning stuff that's equivalent to, like walking for an hour or half hours. This is adding to these things you're already doing. You're getting some extra calories being burned, this extra stuff you probably don't need, this extra calories. And when you're not, if you eat some food, you're going to burn some of the calories from that sugar you're getting from that meal. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's say you're kind of not, you're between meals, and you're going to dip in eventually into that fat and burn that fat. And that's what we're hoping to do. So we see that it slims the waist and the hips. That's shown in the clinical trials again, increases your metabolism. And of course, that's going to result in weight loss. So let's go to the next slide here. And so we have these ingredients in there. Grains of Paradise. That's the one that activates brown fat. Talk a little bit more about that. But you have kind of a white fat and a brown fat. And the brown fat has extra mitochondria in it that is not used to make ATP energy. It's used to make kind of heat. The babies have a lot of this to help them stay warm. And what it's doing is just it activates that mitochondria in that brown fat. So then you're actually just burning those calories. And again, that's where that 10x comes from. And it works. In our study we did in-house, we had statistically significant increases in everybody trying this. It's seen the increase in the resting energy expenditure. Now, L-tyrosine, it's an amino acid, helps with fat burning, and also important for muscle strength and endurance and building muscles as well. I mentioned that before. That's something that can help you burn long-term while you're resting as well. And the niacin and the vitamin B6 are also important for helping with energy production. So remember the mitochondria being activated by the grains of paradise. Well, you're going to give it some nutrients so they can really do their job well and be effective in doing that. So they kind of work together. And the chromium, those of you familiar with the chromium and like chromium picolinate and so forth, helps with, a lot of people are familiar with it with appetite suppression and with also with control of your blood glucose and so forth, but also in metabolism in general. So there's a lot of benefits there in every one of these ingredients. But the featured ingredient that we have in here is this grains of paradise. Let's go to the next slide then. So grains of paradise, what is this thing? So some of you are familiar with noni. Remember how noni, it's a traditional food and something for your health. It was used for a long, long time. People knew of its health benefits in a certain area. Now it's known around the world, and we're seeing additional health benefits. The grains of paradise kind of fits that model. So it's from North Africa, and it's in the ginger family. And one of the names for it is alligator pepper as well, if you want a fun common name for it. But it was used as a spice. In fact, Pliny the Elder, those of you who are familiar with your old Roman history, back in the Roman Empire and so forth, Pliny the Elder wrote about this long, long time ago, wrote about this plant. So it's been known to be used as a food. And then more recently, some people did some work and said, hey, guess what this is doing? This is actually helping bump up your metabolism. And that's when they started looking at it as something that can help manage weight. And so we've included this traditional food ingredient in Abvantage as the featured ingredient to help you manage your health through managing your weight. So this is Abvantage. So let's go to the next one. Now, as I mentioned before, we have white versus brown fat. And just to review again, the brown fat's rich in mitochondria. And the white fat, is more of the adult fat, and the brown fat. Now we do still, even though we're growing up, we still have brown fat. And you have various levels of brown fat. People have them, but we all have got some still. And if you can tap into that and say, okay, with grains of paradise, with these other ingredients and these Advantage, then we're going to kick up metabolism. Now I want you to know it's not going to. Now I know some women when we use it before saying, "Is it going to give me a hot flash?" No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so don't worry about that. think of it more like this. You know, when you're out in the wintertime and you get a little cold and you start to shiver and things like that, your body's trying to adjust and increase heat, kind of like that, but you're not going to like overheat. Okay. This is not what's going on. You can increase your resting energy expenditure. You know, if you, one way to increase your energy expenditure is go on a walk, things like that. You know, you're not worried about overheating, you know, on a just walking around, you know, your house or town or something like that. Um, you know, if you, everything else is controlled, unless you're, you know, out in the Sahara Desert and you have no water and, you know, in the middle of the day. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about just increasing the base metabolism and burning off that extra calories over time, improving your ability to manage your weight. So that's what it is. Activates the brown adipose tissue. And these are food ingredients, so it's safe. Now, we talked about guaranteed, tested, and proven. And there's been these clinical trials done on them, and we see the increase of like 97 more calories per day. Now, okay, what does that equate? If you go on a walk for a while, you're gonna, you know, you need to, people think that they burn more calories than they actually do when they exercise. So you don't actually, you need to do it, and you know, you need to still exercise. You also need to cut down on the amount of food you eat. You know, there's a multi-pronged approach here. But this is going to be like adding in an extra bout of exercise, okay, for some of this, and adding that on. So something you can do to improve your ability to manage the weight, and the 250% loss in this visceral fat in the compared to the placebo group, that's a big deal, guys. That's a big deal. So not only are we talking about losing the weight and looking better, but think of all that pressure and stress that is now not on those internal organs as you clear out some of that fat and free up some of that room for those organs to function properly. Okay, now you can immediately see an effect. At least if we measured it, we see it right away. We see this bump up in metabolism, and then it lasts for quite a while. In fact, if you know, you take it and then you do it again another part in the day, you're gonna see this effect carry on through, and you'll see a change within a day. You can measure, but then as you keep doing it over in 2 weeks, you know, you'll start seeing some drop in weight, and you know, as you do all of these things together, it's going to add up, and it's going to benefit you a lot. So let's jump ahead. I'm going a little fast, folks, but you know,
Hey,
there's
hey Brett, can I jump in and just ask just
yeah,
two questions from the
yeah,
chat?
let's do
One
that.
was, so the recommended dosage is two capsules a day. Can you take more than that? Is it
Yeah, I have no concerns if you take it in the morning and then you take it in the afternoon or evening or something like that. You can hit a couple of these you know, these servings a day. Um, if you want to do that, or if you think it's going to benefit you, or you know, if you need it, do it. Okay, that's it. Just do
okay?
that. It's kind of like what I'm going to talk about with sugar stops. Sometimes people think you only do it once a day. You can actually do this more than once a day too. And some people call it, you know, if you're going to have a cheat meal or something like that. That's not necessarily the way to think about it. I think you need to do this every day because we talk about this being formulated to block sugar and carbs, but there's more to it than just this, just blocking sugar and carbs. There is a fiber component that is good for your gut health in general and for other benefits as well. But let's dig a little deeper into this. Okay, you know, you've seen this before. We've talked about it, how people, you know, consume more than 100 pounds of sugar every year. That could be as table sugar, um, you know, the sucrose, the table sugar, and then you have an additional source that comes from the starches. So think potato chip, think French fries. It's not just fat in them. There's starches in there. These things that need to be broken down into sugar so you can digest them. So I'm going to talk about these starchy type carbohydrates and even the sugar from table sugar. So think of this as like a train. You know, you a train, you know, the choo-choo train, and you've got all these cars, right, hooked together. Now, you cannot digest a whole train. I'm speaking metaphorically, all right? You cannot digest a train, but let's pretend the train is the starch, right? But for you to break that down, you got enzymes in your digestive system that'll unhook all of those cars from the train. So then you can absorb each car individually. So Sugar Stop has some things in there that prevent the uncoupling of that train, So those all stay hooked together, so you cannot absorb it, and then it just passes through your body and comes out when you go to the bathroom. All right, that's the idea. Blocks up to 40% of these carbs. And then, so we have that with, so that's the sucrase is the enzyme that does that, that breaks them down. The sugar part, the table sugar part. And amylase is the one that breaks down the starchy part. So we have a couple things in Sugar Stop, white kidney bean extract and L-arabinose. The L-arabinose helps block up to 20% of that sucrose or that table sugar, because table sugars actually has two parts to it as well, and you got to break them apart so you can absorb it. But imagine if you can't break it apart, or you inhibit some of that uncoupling, then it goes through your body. And then the white kidney bean extract helps with that the starchy part. So what it ends up doing is there is a lot of carbohydrates not being absorbed. Now, the thing is that you hear about some of these diets when they cut out carbs and they drop weight. Well, there's a number of reasons, but one of the big reasons is that a lot of the calories you get in a day are from those carbohydrates, those starches and sugars. That's a lot of what we're getting in our diet. And we also have dietary fiber in there. We have soluble and insoluble fiber, and they're both important. Both types are important for slowing down the absorption of the sugars and the carbohydrates that don't get taken care of by the L-arabinose or the white kidney bean extract. But it also helps your GI tract, helps move things through the GI tract, and it's just good for you. It helps modulate blood glucose levels and all that. There's lots of good science on the fiber by itself, and then we add in these other things. So you take this before, so the instructions, you take it at least once a day. Take it before your biggest carbohydrate loaded meal, and take it a little bit beforehand, a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes or so beforehand. So you get it in your system, even if it's 5 minutes, and then get it into the body before you eat to help prevent some of the absorption of those carbohydrates. And some people say, well, what if I want to do more? Well, you do more. But remember, it's got some fiber in there. So if you're not used to having dietary fiber, you will soon learn how effective this product is. And until your body fully adjusts to it. But this thing will deliver. Okay, just like the other one, this thing will really deliver. In fact, we've had this around for a long time. We've done clinical trials with it, published data on this, where we saw people losing. We had them use this product, and we had them use a program where they targeted a certain calorie restriction to see if this added anything to it. So they reduced their calories, and then we added this on top of it, and we saw them lose. It was quite a bit. I think like 3 pounds extra a week beyond what was expected. So you might say, well, that's only 3 pounds. Well, that adds up, folks. That can add up quickly. You do that over the summer, for every week, and you're going to see a big difference. And then also the benefit to the whole GI tract too, which, okay, Dan, I'm going to go off with the rails a little bit here. Okay. So your gut biome, what's going on in your gut health, the healthy bacteria in there, that's a big deal so we have some products that help with that too, but this fiber is important because those healthy gut bacteria eat these fiber and they release certain compounds. This is going to be an added benefit we haven't really talked about a lot, but it helps with things like the GLP-1 levels, helping control hunger, appetite, things like that. And then also just other benefits. So I could spend 4 hours just talking about that part, but let's move on. So, because I was told everybody that, don't go too long. So I'm trying
You're doing great.
keep you on. Okay. So we have plant-based ingredients. We source them from good sources. We talk about from farm to pharmaceutical. Now, that's not a pH, I'm not making a drug claim here, but the same as a natural product that's good for you. And to help your body block this excess sugar. So in our society, maybe 200 years ago, not having enough was a problem, but we don't have that problem now. We have the opposite problem, and that's given us a lot of trouble, that our bodies are not built for handling that much sugar, that much carbohydrates. We're just not built for that. And it's causing us trouble. Everybody knows this. So I don't think I have to explain that. But these are there to really help. So I've talked about two products. Let's go to the next. Well, white kidney bean extract. I've talked about that one, what it does. That was one of the things we really targeted first, and for inclusion in this product was white kidney bean extract, and then of course the fibers. So let's go to the next one. And oh yes, in noni too. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind. So a lot of you know about noni. It does a lot of good things for the body. One of the traditional benefits of noni, you may not know this. Um, the Polynesian people don't always think of this, but the Polynesian people, they were built for survival. Okay, they're crossing the Pacific. They're good explorers. They're used to doing without a lot of resources. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of food resources, especially when they're traveling. They were in great shape. They learned a lot. But one of the traditional uses of noni also is when they get an island, they sit for a while, and sometimes, especially when the European people showed up and kind of messed up their diets and brought in some things, sometimes they put some weight on. But one of the traditional uses, more recent times, was use noni to help deal with excess body weight, believe it or not, to help with that. So we include noni in there. There's a number of things why we use that. And I can explain that. It involves how it helps the body utilize fat and burn fat through a bunch of processes. Then also helps with growth hormone, which I'll talk about when we get to the next product. So we have these in there, but we use the Tahiti because it's one of the best sources of noni, or the best source and the highest iridoid content we've seen in samples, which iridoids are the main phytonutrients in noni that makes it unique. You can't find that in other fruits. Common fruits, they don't have it. Other superfruits, they don't have it. It's the noni you need to get. So L-arabinose, what it does is it blocks the sucrase enzyme. It takes up the space of the enzyme, and that it would use to break down sucrose into absorbable sugar. The L-arabinose gets in there and gets in the way, prevents some of that sucrase from doing its job, and so that sugar just moves on through. And you'll get, then that's going to benefit you a lot. And then we have, of course, 10 grams of fiber. Now, you see here at the bottom, and we need 25 to 30 grams of fiber intake. And you might think, well, I'm getting that from my iceberg lettuce. You know how much you're going to get from a whole head of iceberg lettuce? Not this 10 grams. Believe it or not, most of the stuff's, okay, there's a lot in there, but a lot of that's water. Remember, fruits and vegetables, a lot of that's water in there. And that's why you can make like a carrot juice. Here, and if you try carrot juice, you can squeeze juice from a carrot. But it takes a lot of work to get that fiber. So this is a great way to supplement your diet with that fiber. And so even if you didn't want the other stuff, certainly do it with this. Now, sometimes fiber supplements on the market have this the soluble fiber only. You got to get both. You got to get the soluble stuff that dissolves easily in the water, and the insoluble, which is kind of more the bulking fiber. You got to have both of them. And so even that aspect alone makes this product worth every penny you're going to spend on this. But we have all these other things. So this is a great product. Okay, next one. So sugar stop, that's what it is. Allergen-free, gluten-free, soy-free, no artificial flavors, colors, sweeteners, vegan. This is something for everybody. Now, Renew. This is one we developed a little while ago. Again, this was based on, so we have a patent on this product, right? We've got actually a couple, but there's one pending right now. And the reason we were able to patent this product is because it does something nothing else on the market does. So when you get a patent, you have to explain to the Patent and Trademark Office, and they have a bunch of attorneys and scientists and everybody involved, and they'll go through and look at other patents, and they'll say, okay, is this doing something that's never been known to do before? And the answer is absolutely. That's why we're able to get a patent on this. Now, what it involves is, I'll explain some more of the ingredients, but we have, again, there's some noni in here and some other botanicals in there that that actually give it a synergistic effect in helping us naturally produce growth hormone. So the benefit of having an increase in growth hormone compared to the declining levels that we experience as we age is your improved age, agility, mobility, as you see here, more energy. It impacts your your love life, that you sleep better. This product is designed to help us sleep, so it helps you produce more growth hormone, so that sleep cycle. Healthy metabolism. There is actually a benefit in here where like almost 60% of the people taking this said that it helped them lose some stubborn body fat as well. And your skin improves that. So let's go to the next one here. And so we have these benefits all just talked about here. Okay, some of the things we saw in the clinical trials, again, people sleeping better. And these effects were within like 2, 3 days. They're starting to sleep better. Now, that I can talk about a lot of things, but this sleep effect, if you don't sleep well, good luck losing weight. See how good that is for you. I mean, some people might waste away if they don't sleep it, but you know, if most of us, when you're tired, you're hungry. I don't know how many of you ever experienced that when you feel tired and unrested, then you're just like, I want to eat something. I feel like I got to eat. And it's lots of studies knowing how that kills your weight loss efforts and even makes the weight loss medication and other programs less effective. So it affects the brain function, skin, hair, all these things you see here. And the way it does it is we have some blends. So let's jump ahead here. Okay, let's go back one more here. Let's just go back. So you got to explain. I got to explain this. When you're young as a kid, you got a lot of growth hormone, and that's how you grow. Remember when you're a kid, you ride on your skateboard, you fall off, and you get hurt, and you bounce up and go on. Or even if you do get a little hurt, you kind of recover really fast. But as you get older, that doesn't happen as well. Well, your growth hormone levels, once you hit about 25, they're starting to decline, and they decline quite a bit. You see 15% every decade of your life. They drop, 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 drop. Now, the reason for that is there are many reasons, and one of them is because there are some enzymes involved that block the signal in parts of the brain that from the hypothalamus to the pituitary, okay, one part of the brain to another that says a signal, it says make some growth hormone and put it into the bloodstream and circulate it through the body. There's an enzyme in there that blocks that signal. That's what this botanical blend involving noni and these other ingredients actually inhibits that signal. So that thing that says don't make more growth hormone is taken out. And then we put in some other ingredients like the amino acid blend in there. Then we call it the signal. We have the signal boosting blend, and we got these other blends, you know, that are in there all to do this to help with this whole thing of get the signal sent so that the body will make growth hormone. Now, here just point out signs of low growth hormone. There are many, and this is shown as we age, but also in young people, young adults, people in their 20s who actually have low growth hormone levels due to certain medical conditions. They start developing symptoms of older, middle-aged people, and even some senior citizens where their skin quality changes. They see more wrinkling, the increased body fat and visceral fat, and all these things. And it also includes some mood effects. So we know that this low growth hormone level in our body has these effects, not only as we age, but if you produce it in somebody that's younger, this will show up. And you see there that that increased body fat. So since we have the three amigos, right, of these products, or the three musketeers here that we're talking about tonight to help with not just your general health, but if I wanted to target weight, there's a reason for each one of these to be used. So let's go to the next one here. Again, I talked some about this, that growth hormone helps stimulate tissue repair, like when you're younger, and other anti-aging processes and properties. And that enzyme I spoke about that blocks that signal is called DPP4, if you want to know. But we've got something in there that nobody else has. We have things that block the activity of that DPP4 and allow the body to produce more growth hormone naturally. This is not an artificial thing. This is not like a banned substance thing. This is just going back to what you were when you were kind of more like when you were younger. So this is the explanation. If you want more details on this, we can give this, but later on talk about it. But I just mentioned there's these signals that go through the body, and there's these processes that are involved. And as we age, sometimes those change and they may break down a little. I mean, we're aging, right? This, you know, this stuff happens. So how do we kind of use this biohack, a natural product biohack, to get us to feel better longer? And that's how we do it with these ingredients in Renew. There's the HGH Booster Blend. These are the botanicals I was talking about. This is actually, the reason we came up with this, we had done this, I'm thinking it was like 20, 25 years ago. We became aware of noni having this property of inhibiting this enzyme. And then I said, okay, what about adding some other things? Can we get a synergistic effect? And the answer was yes. So this fits with some traditional uses of noni as well, where noni would actually improve the efficacy of some other botanicals. The Polynesian people figured that out through, years of experience. Well, it works also with these other ones. And then we added in these amino acids as well. The L-arginine and citrulline, the amino booster blend, that they help promote the release of the signals from one part of the brain to the other that says, hey, make some growth hormone. Okay, and then we have the GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, which helps you sleep. Now, again, I mentioned if you cannot sleep well, you're not going to lose weight. One of the reasons is you need some growth hormone to be produced. And that a lot of that happens when you're in a good sleep cycle. And that GABA, that gamma aminobutyric acid can help you fall asleep, help you sleep well, helps with your mood also in general, so you'll feel better. And then we have nutritional support with these other vitamin and mineral cofactors that help with the process. So let's go to the next one. Next slide here. There's a copy of the patent. I already explained that, how we needed to show that and demonstrate that to get the patent accepted and the application accepted. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so we get older, there's a lot of changes. We go through things, it's the aging process. We all experience it. But when you observe people, some of us age differently. Have you ever heard the term "you're aging well"? Well, hopefully these products can help us all age well, and feel good. So, of all the things you can do, you can take these products, you get up and move around, eat well, but of course, use these things and help impact and improve your health. And these are all science-based, supported, published, even patented. These things deliver, guys. And I hope you use them and share them with those you love. And Dan, I'm going to pitch it back to you now to talk about the promotion here. So thanks, everybody.
Outstanding, Brett West. That was a master class in all of these wonderful products. I mean, everybody in the chat has just been loving the information, begging me for the slides, wanting to know if they're going to get a recording of this, wanting a personal autograph of Brett. They want personalized videos from you. You are a rock star. So thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you who are asking for these slides in the chat, actually, all of these slides that Brett went over, even the one with the patents on there and everything, these all came from the Share site. So if you go to share.partner.co, they actually are there right now. You can go get these. There's a lot of cool stuff at the Share site. So if you love the slides, if you want to get these slides without waiting, you could go to share.partner.co, and the password is super complicated, share. Not Share the singer, but SHARE. So share.partner.co, password share, and you can get all these slides. Brett, you're amazing. Thank you for going over that information. Now, these three products that Brett went over, we picked for a very specific purpose. Meeting with our Partners Council promotion committee, we met and we decided that these three products would make for a great Father's Day promotion. And so they helped us with that. We also, shout out to the promotion subcommittee. They wanted us to think about Father's Day before Father's Day so that you could actually place an order for these products and get them for dad before, nobody, I don't know, maybe dads are used to this, or maybe they're not, I don't know. But getting that Father's Day present, a couple days after Father's Day, as opposed to on the actual day. So we did this on Monday, the 9th of June. If you place an order for these products, which I'm going to go over in just a second, you can get this for dad delivered to you in plenty of time for Father's Day. So let me go to the next slide, Alondra. We have all of these products, one of each, bundled into a special Father's Day promo bundle. Now, this product bundle is going to go live at 8 o'clock. So in 10 minutes, this product bundle goes live. You do save on this bundle. There's savings on the bundle. You get them all packaged together. And then, it's a beautiful bundle, all for 100 PV. So $160, 100 PV. It's a smoking good deal. I think the retail on this slide, I don't know if that's the correct retail price. I'm getting message behind the scenes that, but the $160 is the correct wholesale price. So this is a US only pack. So Canada, I love you. We have a separate Father's Day bundle or promo going on in Canada. They started even earlier than the US, but there's a separate Father's Day promotion going on for Canada. So just in the US only, we have this bundle. It goes on sale starting in now 9 minutes. I got to hurry up and finish my slides before we get to the 8 o'clock hour. It will run all the way through the 11th of June at midnight. So today's the 9th, 10th, 11th, that's Wednesday at midnight. You have 3 days to get this ordered. Now, obviously, if you wait till Wednesday, and it may start to cramp into that delivery date of getting it there by dad or for dad by Sunday. So I encourage you to do it tonight, but we will leave this promo going all the way through Wednesday. Now, here's the deal. We had a little bit of fun with this on Mother's Day. If y'all remember, we gave away diamonds on Mother's Day for a similar flash sale concept. We're going to do a similar sprint for the next 12 hours and then for the next 2.5 days, roughly. Let's go to the next slide, Alondra. There we go. We are going to give away not just an iPad. iPads aren't super new, by the way, but they keep getting cooler and cooler and a little bit more techy. We're going to give away a beautiful iPad Air. We're going to do 2 of these, actually. We got 2 iPads that we're going to give away. This iPad is exclusive. You won't find this anywhere else. You can't buy this in Costco. You can't order it on Apple's website. There's only 2 ways really to win one of these iPads. The first way is basically the early adapter. So everybody who's on the webinar tonight, you have an advantage and an advantage, but you have an advantage over everybody else who may hear this later. Anybody who purchases starting in 5 minutes, what's my timer? 7 minutes. Everybody who purchases starting in 7 minutes all the way through 12 hours from now, so 8 a.m. in the morning, we're going to go for 12 hours. Everybody who orders early, you're going to be entered into a raffle for one of these iPads. If you order multiples of these, so if one of them is not enough, if you order that pack times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, we'll give you additional entries into the drawing for this iPad. So that's an exclusive group that will be able to participate in this drawing. The other part of this, so I believe there's another slide. Alondra, what's the next slide say? Okay, over the entirety of this promo, starting in 6 minutes until Wednesday night at midnight, the person who moves the most volume with this part number, so it has the most packs sold attached to your distributor number, will be the winner of our second iPad. So there's the first sprint for 12 hours with this promo, and then there's the total volume moved with this iPad over the entirety of the promo. Gets another iPad. So I guess technically you could probably win both iPads if you really go big with this. So have a lot of fun with this. We have a cool promo. We have a cool bundle. You get discounts on the products. It'll get there in time for dad. Brett just gave you all the science. Let's take care of dad this year. Have dad work on his dad bod with Renew, Sugar Stop, and Advantage. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We have behind the scenes, shout out to my team. I know that the last couple times we've done a flash sale, we say 8 o'clock and then it's like womp womp. Something glitches in the back office. This is live and it's working. We've tested it. Now I say that and watch, something glitches again, but we have tested this live and it's going to work at 8 o'clock. So hopefully there's no hiccups there. Shout out to Kevin, shout out to Taylor, shout out to our IT team and marketing team behind the scenes, Dina as well. Dina does an amazing job with getting these promos set up. Shout out to Alondra for putting the slides together. And of course, a massive shout out to Brett West for taking time away from his family and his grandkids to get on the call and talk a little science, talk a little knowledge about our products. always informative. There was even, I don't know if anybody caught it, there was even a low-key history lesson with Advantage that we were kind of chuckling behind the scenes, Brett. You were giving like history lessons with some of the knowledge on that. So well done. Super appreciate you. You're such an asset to our company. We love you here at PartnerCo, and thank you for all of your hard work behind the scenes. And then last but not least, shout out to all of you. Thank you for jumping on our call tonight. I know we're pushing up right against the hour. In 4 minutes, this promo goes live, so have some fun with it. And we will probably next Monday announce who our winners of the iPads are. So thank you, everybody. Congratulations and happy Father's Day to all of you dads out there for all you do. We're 90% women in North America. Hopefully you dads are the support force behind all of these wonderful women that we have building our business. So we love you dads. We love you ladies who are the 90% of our business as well. But have a wonderful Father's Day, everybody. With that, we'll see you next week. Thanks for jumping on.